Our story begins with Max at a psychiatrist's office, where he recounts his tale to the doctor. Max was born with an unusual ability. Anyone who sees his face dies. He explains that this all began from the moment he was born. When the doctor and assistants saw him, they exclaimed that he was the most beautiful child in the world. Moments later, they all suffered heart attacks and died. The only people unaffected were Max's father and mother. As a result, the family had to relocate to an isolated town to minimize the deaths that Max unintentionally caused. From that point onward, Max has concealed his face and constantly wears dark glasses to hide his deadly beauty. However, the psychiatrist suggests that Max might have fabricated this story due to his depression. Suddenly, Max's family hears a loud thud from the office. When they enter, they discover that Max had removed his glasses, and the doctor, upon seeing his face, suffered a fatal heart attack. The incident is reported to the police, but they determine that Max poses no legal threat. After returning home, Max's friend Dan arrives and joins them for lunch. Max's father suggests that he should try dating apps to get out of the house more, as he has been isolating himself. But Max retreats to his room and asks Dan to hit him with a brick, hoping it will disfigure him and prevent future deaths. Dan finally agrees, and Max ends up in the hospital, where everyone gazes at him in astonishment due to his peculiar appearance. At the hospital, Max meets Alex, who hands him a magazine to shield his face from onlookers. After the hospital visit, they return home. Later, Dan tells Max that he has arranged a Valentine's Day date for him with a girl and insists that Max goes. That night, Max meets Erica and presents her with a handkerchief stitched with her name, which he made himself. They chat until a man named Greg joins them and begins irritating Max. Frustrated, Max slams his head against the table and leaves. He tries to meet Erica another time, but she declines and walks away, leaving Max alone at the restaurant. Feeling hopeless, he decides to end his life by jumping off a bridge. Before he leaps, Alex appears and sarcastically remarks that he should find a taller bridge to ensure a quicker death. As she walks toward the bus, Max tells her she should be trying to stop him from committing suicide. However, she remains convinced that he won't jump and predicts that he will die peacefully in bed as an old man. She then invites Max to join her at a nursing home, where they spend the day with Esther and Rosemary. Later, Alex takes Max home to ensure he won't return to the bridge. He asks if they can meet again, but she declines, saying she needs to help her mother at home. Max assumes she doesn't want to see him anymore, and they part ways. Max confides in Dan about Alex, expressing his desire to see her again. Dan suggests he visit the bus stop where they last met, hoping for another encounter. The next day, Max waits at the bus station until Alex arrives. She asks if he was waiting for her, and he admits he wanted to see her again. They head to a store, buy a large amount of candy, fill a bathtub with it, and sit inside. Max reveals to Alex that he was born with a face so beautiful that anyone who sees it dies. She responds that she's aware of his reputation, especially at the hospital where they met. Alex explains that she had been at the hospital due to a rare heart condition and carried a device that monitored her heart, though her condition is now stable. Later, Alex takes Max to the cinema, sharing that she had always dreamed of going there with someone special but had no friends to go with. Max feels too shy to go alone, so they go together. Back at his house, Alex notices various decorations on the walls and asks Max to make one for her. Max inquires about the light bulb on her jacket, and Alex explains that it's a dangerous device. It lights up when her heart enlarges beyond normal, which happens when she experiences intense emotions, and this could harm her. Max's family returns home and is shocked to find that Max has a new friend, a girl, alone with him in his room. They introduce her to Yushin, a girl living with them as part of a student exchange program until she finishes her studies. The next day, they all go camping in the woods, with Max's mother insisting that Yushin joins them. That night, Alex expresses her wish to see Max's face, but he refuses. Eventually, he agrees to let her imagine what his face might look like while covering her eyes. Upon returning from the camping trip, Max asks Alex if they can meet again. She declines, explaining that she must help her mother. In reality, Alex is in the hospital for her heart condition, but keeps this from Max. Back at home, Max and Yushin are tasked with taking out the old Christmas tree. Yushin accidentally throws a cigarette on it, setting the tree ablaze. Max tries to extinguish the fire, but injures his hands in the process and ends up back in the hospital where he encounters Alex. However, Alex treats Max coldly and later tells her mother that she is volunteering at the nursing home. The following day, Max confronts Alex about her behavior, and she explains that she hasn't told her family about her friends because her mother would worry even more about her. They visit Esther, but discover that Rosemary is gravely ill and only being kept alive by machines. Alex, heartbroken, asks Max to enter Rosemary's room and reveal his face, allowing her to pass away peacefully. Though uncertain of what people feel when they see him, Max agrees. He enters Rosemary's room, holds her hand, and shows her his face. She laughs and dies peacefully. Afterward, Alex disappears from Max's life, and despite his efforts, he cannot find her. He eventually goes to her house, where Alex reveals that doctors have increased her medication. The light bulb on her jacket constantly lights up, indicating that her heart is enlarging, which Max blames on their frequent meetings. Alex's condition worsens, but before parting, she asks Max to accompany her to a party at Dan's school. They attend, dressed in quirky outfits, and dance together until Alex grows tired. She asks Max to wait for a moment as Dan interacts with Greg's ex-girlfriend. Greg arrives and forces Max to remove his mask in front of Dan's girlfriend. When Max finally takes off the mask, she sees his face, smiles, and then dies. Shortly after, the police arrive and arrest Max. As he is taken away, he notices an ambulance rushing Alex to the hospital. Max spends a day in jail before being released. Upon his release, he heads straight to the hospital to see Alex. There, he discovers that the medications she's been taking are simply antacids. He realizes that Alex doesn't want to take her real medication because she wants to die. She tells Max that she has been on medications since childhood, and all they do is briefly delay her inevitable death. Alex explains that she rarely leaves the house, doesn't attend school, and isn't allowed to see her friends. Then she makes one final request of Max. Max knows she wants to see his face, but he refuses. He admits that he doesn't know what she'll experience if she sees him, so he leaves the hospital and returns home. Desperate, Max tries to disfigure himself, but his parents intervene just in time and stop him from hurting himself. Meanwhile, Yoshin's cat accidentally sees Max's face and dies. Dan confronts Max for avoiding Alex, insisting that she needs him now more than ever. He warns Max that if she dies, he'll regret not taking the chance to be with her. Max takes Dan's words to heart and returns to the hospital. He leaves all the handmade items he's created over the years, including a special one for Alex. He apologizes for distancing himself from her and admits that he doesn't want her to die and leave him. Finally, Max agrees to fulfill her request. He tells her to close her eyes, then removes the cloth from his face. He lies next to her on the bed, and when Alex opens her eyes, she sees his face for the first time. However, she doesn't die. She only feels slightly weak. Max quickly alerts the doctors to check on her. Max remains by her side all night, but eventually, Alex passes away and leaves him.
There's always tomorrow, I get between my...
Later, the court rules Max innocent in the death of Dan's girlfriend. The forensic report proves that she died of natural causes. Despite this, Max's case becomes a sensation in the media, with his story topping headlines and newspapers everywhere. Some people are skeptical of the idea that someone's beauty could kill, while others hope that Max can help those who are suffering. Max soon finds a way to use his unusual ability to help people in agony, offering them a peaceful end to their torment. But the most important lesson Max learns from Alex is that his appearance doesn't kill everyone. The ones who truly love him, who see that the most beautiful part of him is his personality and his heart, don't die. That's why Alex and his parents didn't perish when they saw his face. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, so you never miss our future explorations of timeless classics and hidden gems. Until then, happy watching, and I'll catch you in the comments.